Okay, so our last section, this chapter is talking about membranes as well as lipid transport. So, one of the big problems that you might have noticed or maybe have thought about is that lipids, I've been talking about lipids being moved around the body and used in different parts of the body. However, the best way to move throughout the body is through your bloodstream. And blood is an aqueous matter, meaning it's more polar, it's got water in it. But we've been talking about a lot about how lipids are not soluble, don't mix well with a water environment. They like to be in a more non-polar environment. So, how the body gets around this is by using something called lipoproteins here. So, lipoproteins are a combination of lipids and proteins and phospholipids that form a water soluble lipoprotein. So, really, what this is it will form these little droplets that kind of look like this, where it's got all of these, this membrane on the outside is going to have a polar surface on the outside from the phospholipids, and then it might have some proteins in it in order to let things come in and out of this lipoprotein. And it also has some cholesterol units inside for some structure, but you're going to have your phospholipids having their polar head and their nonpolar tails. And those nonpolar tails are going to house an inner core of nonpolar lipids. So cholesterol esters or triacylglycerols. So it's kind of like it's in a bubble. So inside the bubble is nonpolar, outside the bubble is polar. So all in all, what we're doing is we're really essentially hiding nonpolar substances inside a polar shell. And that polar shell can then move around easily within your bloodstream. So different kinds of lipoproteins vary in density, composition, and function. So there's a variety of kind of different ones that we have here. I knew I was going to pronounce this wrong. Chylomicrons have very little protein to them, so very little of these proteins here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Very little proteins to let things in and out, but they have a lot of the triglycerides in there. These transport triglycerides from intestines, so from our diet, takes our triglycerides and takes them to our liver or our muscle cells to be used to be transformed there or used however they're going to be used. We have very low density lipoproteins. The shorthand for that is VLDLs. They have a little bit more protein in them, and then they have a lot of triglycerides as well. And their role is to carry triglycerides from liver to adipose tissue. So from taking your fat molecules from liver to adipose tissue is your fat molecules. So, or fat cells, like cellulite, that is pretty much pure adipose tissue. So that is storage or energy storage for further use. We have low density lipoproteins. These are considered your bad ones. They have proteins, cholesterol, and cholesterol esters. So this is how you transport that cholesterol around your body, and that's the reason it's bad is because if they get trapped or there's extra cholesterol in your blood, there's a lot of these lipoproteins, the low density lipoproteins, and that's what could cause your heart diseases and those diseases that we've talked about before. So what these do is transport cholesterol to your tissues, and they deposit excess in your arteries. So that's what causes your heart attacks, just like we talked about. And then the last one is high density lipoproteins. So the density that we're talking about is the density of proteins. So this has a lot of protein, 55% protein. These are the ones that are good because they transport cholesterol from tissue to liver, and then that cholesterol is converted to bile salts, which are kind of like that soap in your body, to wash out all of those bad fats that you need, or bad fats that you need to get rid of, and those then go out of your body. So there's a variety of different lipoproteins that can be used to transport lipids, and they have different uses, different functions and compositions along with those properties.